Welcome back to the Garden with Joe and Holly radio show. Happy you've allowed us to be part of your day-to-day and given a little of your time to us. If you got a question, we can give you an answer. It's time for garden questions and garden answers. You can send it on over to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to give us a call, you can certainly do that at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. And if we can't get to you, leave a message and we will call you back with the answer to your question.
So the question is sponsored by Fleet Farm and fleetfarm.com. I have leftover seeds that they say they'll expire this December. So do I just throw them out? Will they be good for next year? What should I do?
Okay. So on the pack of every seed package you purchase, there's going to be a best sell by date or expiration date or some date that is in the calendar year in which you bought it. There is some law or some government thingamajig that the seeds have to be sold. They cannot be sold past a certain date in that calendar year by the company. It doesn't, or they have to either give them away or sell them all before that time frame that the date is. That doesn't mean the seeds expire or go bad. Seeds can be good for many, many years beyond the date that is on the package. Now, this is also the time, and later on in the year, you will typically see a lot of seed companies dump the seeds, meaning massive discounts. That doesn't mean that the seeds are no good. If maintained in a proper environment, you can have tomato seeds last 8 to 9 years. Green beans, 5 years. Onions, parsnips, leeks, up to 2 years, maybe 3, based on if you keep them in a chilled refrigerator crisper. So you can save a lot of money on seeds at the end of the growing season, like in the fall, when these companies have to get rid of these seeds on sale. But no, they're perfectly fine. That's just a legal thing from the seed company, so you can buy them up, save them, but don't buy so many that you're not going to use them in a timely manner, because as the seeds get older, they do lose a viability of approximately 10% each year. So every year you lose 10% seed germination rate. So after 5 years, the seeds are about 50% gone. That's not a hard, fast rule, but it's a general understanding of how long seeds are good for. All right, Holly. You had a guest on a few weeks ago. They talked about birds and this bird app that I would like to get, but I can't find it. Can you give me any information?
Yeah, it's called the Merlin app, and that's MERLIN.
Merlin Bird App.
Merlin Bird App, and it's from the Cornell School of Ornithology.
Uh-huh.
And
they don't know who we are. We're not associated with them.
It's a free app.
It's a free app.
It might take up some space on your
about
phone.
1 gigabyte.
Yeah.
And it will notify you. There's several different things. You find your region, and then it'll pull up your zip code and all that. But it identifies hundreds of birds, and you can sit on your porch, and every time a bird chirps, oh, that's a sparrow, that's a goldfinch, that's a robin, that's a red-winged blackbird, and every time they chirp, it illuminates that name of that bird, and it has a little picture beside it. It's really neat to use, and you can learn the sounds of the birds based on how that is. Now, it is an app. It's not perfect. The seagulls that are near Lake Michigan, it thinks those are robins. Because I went down there specifically to see if I could get that to read, and it would pop up robin. It would pick up as a robin.
There's definitely there's a distinction between a seagull and a robin.
It just wouldn't do it. Now, fun fact, with this app, if you are trying to learn birds, and if you're watching gardening shows or potentially like camping videos online, and there's a lot of birds in the background, 90% of the time you put the phone by the TV or your computer. You can't really do it while you're watching your phone. It will identify the birds through the TV. So you can kind of learn that way too if you don't have certain species. I mean, it's you can play with it. It's really, really neat. But Merlin Bird App takes about 1 gigabyte of space on your phone, but it's really a cool app, especially if you've got young ones that you're trying to get off their phones, but here's a way to have them on the phones but learning at the same time. All right, Holly, I have large green peppers, and I planted red bell peppers. What's the deal?
Well, to achieve the sweeter, more nutritious peppers, green peppers have to stay on the vine, and they will continue to ripen into those red peppers. So you want to water them. You want to make sure that they are cared for, and then it will take 2 to 3 weeks once they've reached that green state to turn fully red.
Now, we all see green peppers at the store. Green peppers are unripe peppers. There's nothing wrong with picking a green pepper, but traditionally in North America, we have been conditioned that a green pepper is a ripe pepper. It's a good pepper. That's fine.
It basically just has less of that natural capsaicin that does.
You want to eat your color. You want to eat your vegetables of color.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with eating green peppers.
No.
I like the tangy kind of bitterness of them at times versus the sweetness of a red or yellow or orange sweet pepper.
No, we're talking just bell peppers here.
Yeah.
We're not talking the spicy habanero or jalapenos or anything like that.
It's just because, they are not fully ripe, but it's not a problem to eat them because they are so, I guess, normalized, if you want to say that. So yeah, your red peppers, if you're waiting for them to turn red, first of all, make sure that's what you planted. Second of all,
a traditional green pepper, if left along on the vine or brought in, it will. You see them and you buy them at the store, and they'll start changing in the fridge.
Yeah. So yeah, just make sure you know what color you're waiting for, I guess.
Fun fact here, another fun fact. Show's full of fun facts. In North America, in the United States, we have been conditioned when you grow leeks, you only eat the bleached or white portion of the leek. In many portions of the world, the whole leek is consumed. There's nothing wrong with eating the green leaves. I mean, if it's all fully green and not dying off. Many countries utilize the whole plant. The United States, we cut off most of the plant and throw it in the compost or in the trash.
Yeah, and the show's full of fun facts. You know why?
Why?
Because you're a fun guy.
Okay.
A little mushroom fungus humor for you.
All right, moving on. What is the best size to harvest cucumbers?
Well, so for this, you want to know what kind of cucumbers you planted.
And what the purpose of
you're going to
use them for.
So if it's a pickling cucumber, it's probably going to be about 3 or 4 inches long. If it's something like a slicing cucumber, like a Market 4 or Market More,
Market 70,
Market 75,
straight 8,
yep. It's probably gonna be to 8 to 9 inches long.
But couldn't you take those pickling cucumbers that we all imagine being that size? Couldn't you harvest multiple ones that are just very small, like little tiny 1 to 2 inch ones that you see that you would get at the grocery store in a jar? Can you not? You don't have to wait on them. You can harvest many of them on the small side and have a whole jar of small pickles.
Yeah, you can harvest them early. Mm-hmm. But I guess what I'm saying is that if you want that long slicing cucumber,
the spheres,
you just don't want to wait too long.
No, because then it turns yellowish, it turns white, it becomes extremely bitter because of the production of seeds, not the production of the fruit itself.
Right.
All right, I have a problem with my cabbage. It's split open. What happened to it? Do I have some kind of insect problem? No.
Sometimes your cabbage heads will split. So this is sometimes like when tomatoes split, it's after a heavy rain and that cabbage takes up too much moisture. And when it does split, you do want to harvest it right away.
Right. So just like tomatoes, if you got a lot of them just about to turn ripe, they will ripen inside and it's going to rain. You want to harvest them because it will suck up the extra moisture and blow the tomatoes apart and blow the bottoms out of them because the skin can't expand as fast as the internals. Same thing is happening with the cabbage here. You want to harvest it before a big rain, and so it doesn't get that splitting problem, because we've had tomatoes that super dry spell, a lot of rain one day, go out and it's just like somebody threw a firecracker in the bottom of them and just bottoms were blown out and the skins were hanging there because it sucked so much water up and couldn't do anything with it because it was super dry, extremely wet, and then boom, boom, tomatoes exploded. So the cabbage went boom, boom, and cracked open.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Sounds like a real problem. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.